All right. Good afternoon. We are here for a meeting of the ad hoc committee related to the complaints of the Oakland Black Officers Association. What I'm going to do is to go around, have everyone introduce themselves, and I'll try to call on you for you to introduce yourselves and your role and position. Again, I'm Brenda Harbin Forte, one of the Oakland Police Commissioners. Kareli.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Kareli Ordaz, and I'm an alternate commissioner with the Police Commission.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Mac.
Hi, everyone. Mac Muir here. I am the Executive Director of the Community Police Review Agency. Glad to be here.
All right. And Mac is this is his second day on the job. So
congratulations.
It's good. But he's gotten up to speed on this contract and everything.
Yep.
And also the Community Police Review Agency is the contract administrator for the city of Oakland.
Correct. I'm as up to date as I can be, and I look forward to getting as much clarity as possible here.
Very good. Why don't I go to you, Patrick?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, good afternoon to everyone. And my name is Patrick Timlin, and I am a special advisor with Stone Turn. My background, I have a background in law enforcement and in corporate and private security consulting and investigations. When I was with the police department, I was in operational roles my entire career, and commanded 2 different precincts and Queens Detectives and Patrol Borough Bronx. And I was very proactive as a police officer, and I was very proactive in community outreach and policing. And I was sent to the Bronx after the Amadou Diallo shooting to repair community relations, and was successful in that. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm thankful to be part of this very important project with you. And thank you, and open for questions, and et cetera.
Thank you. Why don't we go over to you, Dave?
Hi, nice to see you again. Yeah, my name is Dave Burrows. I'm a partner at Stone Turn. I have extensive investigative experience in the public and private sectors, conducting investigations and also performing risk management. Prior to my career in the private sector, I was with federal law enforcement and was with the FBI for 25 years. And it's a pleasure to meet you all.
Thank you. Victoria.
Hi, good evening. My name is Victoria DiGiovanni. I'm a senior consultant at Stone Turn. I work in compliance, investigations, and risk management matters, and I'll be supporting the team in analysis and project management over the life cycle of our initiative.
Great. And it's showing as Linda. You're muted. You're muted. Unmute, please.
I apologize for that. Good evening and thank you. My name is Linda Marmara. I am a 20-year veteran of law enforcement with a background in community relations and crisis management and community response. I also spent 15 years in the private sector as the deputy director of a small law enforcement agency where I developed and designed their policies for training and hiring.
Thank you.
John, come to you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And I come to you with the Silver SEAL team.
Very good. Thank you. John.
Yes, good evening, and thanks for having us. I come to the team after a 32-year career in metropolitan law enforcement, where I held every rank from cadet through chief, and along the way picked up an MBA and a law degree. But during my time there, held positions on both patrol, community policing, narcotics, internal affairs, resource analysis, and what I like to say, kind of the think tank of policing, where designed and implemented multi-party responses to domestic violence, child abuse, harm reduction, juvenile justice, and the intersection of technology and policing. I am now a senior fellow at the Rutgers University Center on Policing Excellence and Community Resilience.
Great. And Young?
Hi, everyone. My name is Yong Su. I'm a PhD economist and a managing director based in Staunton's New York office. At Staunton, I work primarily in economic consulting and litigation support. I provide both litigation and non-litigation consulting services to our clients. For this matter, I'm mainly responsible for analyzing the employment data provided to us by Oakland PD. Nice to meet you all.
Very good, thank you. And Regina, you got here just in time.
We're just doing introductions.
Yes, just introductions.
All right, terrific. Thank you. It is a delight for me to address you this evening. I'm Regina Jackson. I'm one of the original police commissioners, and I served as chair for 3 terms. The OBOA letter and all came out under the chairmanship. And it's just really unfortunate that it's taken us so long to move forward. We recognize that there are a series of delays, and I'm just glad that we're able to move forward, because this issue is actually core to the issues that are keeping us out of sustainability. It's core to our culture. So thank you very much. We hope that you're going to offer some words of wisdom as we continue to go down this road to figure out how we can shift culture on behalf of Black officers, but on behalf of all officers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. One of the things we want to do today is to get a status report from you. What has been happening? We know that there was a glitch in terms of actually moving forward. We want to know whether you've got an opportunity to do any interviews, whether you have all the documents from OPD that you need, whether there are additional documents or any document requests outstanding, and also just when we can expect some deliverables. I will say that is the question that will be before the city council. We had to explain why there were no deliverables under the original contract. But another contract has been let, and we have a couple of months, but not a lot, to try to show something for our work. So what I'd like to do is, I'm not sure which one of you will take the lead, but to give us a status report. What about the production of documents? Are there any outstanding document requests?
Yes, I believe at this time we do have, and I can be sort of more specific, but I know there is at least some additional data that we requested regarding for the data analysis. Jan, can you speak to that specifically? I know you're the one who sort of flagged that for us when you were doing your preliminary analysis.
Yeah, I understand our assignment is to determine whether there is a racial bias in Oakland PD's hiring and promotional processes. As of today, we have reviewed the data that were supplied to us by Oakland PD on hiring and also promotion. We have reviewed the data, and also we have conducted a preliminary analysis on testing and recruiting processes. For the hiring, for the promotionals data, we are still expecting some more detailed information on the decisions behind those promotions. We can work with Oakland PD to get those, to fill in the data gaps and get that data ready. Once we have the data, we should be able to complete the economic analysis in a timely fashion.
Okay. Regina, go ahead.
Yes, so part of the charge is not to determine whether or not there is bias in promotion. We already know there is. The Hiller-Hines report documented that. But one of the bigger challenges is really around when do the officers, like when they have the field training officer assigned to them, typically we recognize that those are very, very persuasive and influential people. And so oftentimes that might be the beginning of mistreatment, but there is pervasive mistreatment. It turns up in the lack of promotions and the extreme disciplines. So hiring will be very important to us, but part of the understanding, again, is of the cultural mores and how those impact the Black officers. It's been generational, and certainly our Black officers are oftentimes feeling the heat from community as the quote unquote, turncoat, or, you can't be community if you're a police officer. Well, how do we find the medium where these folks feel like they are welcome inside their own employment, but also have opportunities to participate in the community in which they sometimes live or are from? So the question that I have for you is, and was Kiana Suttle not able to join our ad hoc, Brenda?
Who?
Kiana Suttle. She's the person that's providing all the documents.
She had another engagement, and we did tell her that we really didn't necessarily need her today.
Okay.
For this meeting, but she did indicate that she had turned over.
Okay, thank you. And so my second point is that we gave you, I don't know, maybe 14 or 16 different officers to interview. And as we speak, those officers are either retiring or no longer available to us, Chief Armstrong, chief among them. So when will you be able to do those interviews? Because we're losing intellectual, property and history the longer we wait.
So let's get with the documents first and make sure that you have everything that you need, or if you have any additional requests in terms of documents or data.
Yeah, I'll sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted, Dave, if you don't mind, I just like
No,
to
please.
answer Ms. Jackson's questions in reverse order, I think.
Okay.
So we'll be able to start very soon. There were circumstances that we had to wait until now that we're all aware of. But we will be looking in the next few weeks to start doing the interviews. And we have a process that we, obviously it was during COVID at that time, but we plan on doing remote and in-person interviews. And we have, as you pointed out, names of officers and community people that we will be contacting. We will contact the people that you mentioned because of the fuse that's burning that you described. So we will contact those people immediately and look to set up interviews immediately with those people. And then in terms, does that answer that question?
That does, and I thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And just going to the other items, and we took a very holistic approach to this. So we went to basically the life cycle of an officer. Because it starts like, where is the recruiting? Is there recruiting satisfaction? We know there's been a lot of things done and being done in Oakland. We know that, but we want to look for gaps, right? We're coming in with a fresh set of eyes. So we want to look like, okay, well, if you want to diversify the department and you want to reach out to populations that have been under-sourced and under-resourced, then how do you do it? Are you going to the right places? Are you using the right mediums? Are you using the right people? So we want to start at the cradle and then go to the end. So that's why we want to look at the recruitment. We want to look at the hiring process, the selection, first the selection, then the hiring and onboarding, the experience through the academy, and the assignment to the field training unit, and then what happens there. And we look at the recruitment, and we look at promotions. We were careful to do extensive requests for documents for the promotion process standard civil service, but then we want to look at the discretionary, because we know that sometimes that's a place where people can manipulate. So we just took care to identify every aspect of that process. And that's why Young mentioned, we want to get a little more data. We got a lot of data. You know, we submitted requests, you provided us with data, but there are some gaps that we need to fill. Additionally, we're going to be informed. You know, one of the reasons that you selected us, and we're grateful, is that we have a community activist, you know, Richard Green, who's not here tonight. We have a social activism component of our proposal, and we have an experienced community affairs person in Linda Marmara and Jack. It's important to us because we believe that if there is that focus on the service to the community, that's going to help with a healthier department in many ways that we can talk about. So we're committed to doing that. We're committed, and the data that we're going to further review, we are then going to take those interviews. We're going to, as you well know, we're going to come back with information that's going to inform us to say, we need to ask for some more documentation, and we probably need to interview Joan Smith, right? And as well, and then we'll do that. So that's how, and I think it's worth, we've refreshed on where we're at. And I think maybe we could give you an interim, not only a status report, but give you an interim, like a plan of attack, where we are now, which we can talk about now, but we can also give you something formal that you can share with the council and with anybody if that's helpful to you. But we're poised to start right away. Sorry for the long.
No worries about it. Virginia, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I am very appreciative. It sounds like there is some change management and culture shift information that you will be able to provide to us, and that will be exceedingly important. Brenda, I'm thinking that it might be helpful to have Kelly go back to the meeting that we had our conversation with John Alden. I don't even remember when that was, but there was a lot of really important information in that meeting that spoke to a little bit more than just the indices of promotions and hiring. And so I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of some of that, because these may be things, although, it looks like Stone Turn have identified a lot of important things. I think there were like one or two questions that I don't remember. And if we could have Kelly pull up that meeting so that especially Corelli can listen to it, and then we can be refreshed by it. I think that will be very helpful.
Okay, all right, sounds good. With respect to where we are and how soon we can get going, I guess I kind of keep going back to to documents and everything, because the last time, the reason there hadn't been interviews was that you didn't have the documents. So I want to make sure that you got enough documents. So when we get going on interviews, you will be able to move through them swiftly. And I also, obviously, before we leave today, want you to give us a timeline, because we are going to have to report to the city council when we can expect some kinds of deliverables from you, and where we are. So I know I guess you say in the next couple of weeks you will start some interviews. There were Regina, I realized, I don't know if Asata Olubala might be one. I don't think she's on the list. Unless I overlooked her name. She was not on the list. She'd be a good community person also to interview. So
yes,
we'll give.
I agree. I think at the time, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think at the time we were really focused on police officers and just identified a couple of community members.
Right.
Quite honestly, if Reggie Lyles is not on that list, he should
He
be on
is.
that list.
Reggie's on there. Rashida is. Yeah.
I think John Jones should be on that list.
Okay.
It's been so long ago, I don't remember the list.
Yeah. But we will we'll look at community people and we may supplement, but I do know that there's at least one more, and I think, Regina, we definitely have Reggie and others on there, but we'll take a look at, I have their old emails, we can take a look at it. So as you think now about the things that you need to do, our contract is up in October. We still need to get it formally extended. The city council had some questions last time around. We had to explain why there's been a delay already. So I'm hoping that they are satisfied with the information we provided them so far. But they do want to know, if it's going to be worth it to continue to actually extend the contract formally. So, but we want you doing your work and proceeding as though the contract has already been formally extended, and so that we can, the next time we meet with city council, we can give them some hard evidence. Hold on one sec. Kareli, go ahead, and then Regina.
Thank you. I was curious if the list of interviewees is available. I don't know if I've seen that. I know I'm coming in new to this work, but I would love to see the full list.
It is it's in an email. I can do, yeah, I can give you some of the older emails, Kareli.
Thank you. Oh, and then sorry, thank you. One other question, Mr. Shu mentioned that you were waiting for additional data from OPD. What data are you waiting on? And how can we help?
Yeah, we have received very detailed data on recruiting, but we are still expecting some more detailed information on promotions. We have only received a list of those officers who were promoted, their names, their age, but we don't have any other background information on their performance. So it would be helpful if you could supply us, with additional information, based on those promotion decisions.
And can I ask, have you been in touch with Director Suttles on what you need? Who's your contact? I think Director Settle at OPD is your contact person for the information that you need, Kiona Settle. If you want to send her another request and copy the three of us commissioners, Jackson and Ordaz and me, so that we too will know what you've asked for and when you've asked for it, so that we can track it as well, that would be very helpful. Kareli, anything else from you? Regina, go ahead.
Thank you. I think that the way in which you might look at this work is that while the subject matter is African Americans, this kind of culture and this kind of challenge could very much extend itself to Latinos, to LGBTQ, anything that is not like the potential MAGA culture that we have seen historically here in Oakland. And so when we look at the information that you're sharing, hopefully some of it, we'll be able to glean and inform other whether it's protected communities or not. But the thing that I wanted to really underscore, and I just lost my thought, dog on it, was, oh, I know. We actually don't have an understanding, a depth of understanding of a strong promotional policy. I don't really think there is one that we shouldn't be looking at if there is one, so that we can review and update. It seems like people get promoted because they're well liked or in a camp, or so I think that would be very important, Kareli, Brenda, for us to take a look at.
I agree.
And we have asked, in our request for documents, we've asked for mission statements. We've asked for any guidance that is provided to the OPD in that regard. So we will check, just to go back to what was requested, what we did receive and what the gaps are. We did a gap analysis too. And we can refresh on that and come back to you. And I think it'll help, and it'll help Corelli get up to speed as well.
Okay, and I don't mean to leave Mac out. I think Mac should be copied on things too. Regina, your thoughts, suggestions on how we make sure Mac is on the phone here?
Oh, absolutely, yes. It should be just another CC, because as we learn about OPD, the opportunity for MAC to, again, align in how they approach their investigations, you know, in order to inform the best and brightest and most cautious movements forward. That will be really important.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I just want to second what Commissioner Jackson was saying regarding having a qualitative story of what took place here. When you mentioned an economic analysis, I just want to make sure that the end result tells us a story that everyone can understand, that isn't solely rooted in data, because it is the personal experiences of these Black officers that shape the culture of the city and the culture of the department over time.
Yeah, we want the storytelling, the qualitative as much as the quantitative. I quite frankly prefer qualitative because it gets at the root, it gets at the culture.
So I think to that point, I'd just like to emphasize that the questions that you've seen that we've designed are designed to elicit qualitative responses from the participants that are germane to the primary research questions that we're looking at. So it's, you know, those responses could be lived personal experiences. Those could be communal sentiment, even though it wasn't necessarily, you know, direct experience. And it could also be opinion or impressionistic, but it's to gather that in order to understand holistically, as Pat was saying a little bit earlier, holistically, infused with the understanding that, you know, what policies may be informing that may support, you know, disparate outcomes, what data informs this, but doesn't exclusively tell that story, because these lived experiences have to be infused throughout the analysis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Mac, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I didn't catch it before, but do we have a timeline at this point for when the work is going to be completed?
That's what we're going to be moving to next.
Apologies.
No worries, no worries.
And then just to follow up on the prior question, is there any data missing other than the data that you mentioned before? And I'm sorry, I cut you off there, Commissioner.
No worries. That's what we've been trying to get from them. I think Young says right that there are a couple of there's some more data that's needed, and he's going to be in touch with Kiana Suttles on that, and he's going to copy all of us, all three of us commissioners, as well as you, Mac, on under the request that he sends to OPD, so that we can all track it and know what is needed.
Excellent. And other than that demographic data that you were describing, or the finer data that you were looking for, is there any other data that is outstanding on your end?
I think the only thing that I would add is, if during the course of the interviews we become aware of a data set that we had previously not heard of or were unaware of, that may be helpful in our analysis, that's something that we may need to make a request for. So I would open that as leave that as an open kind of checkbox. And I would also say that if during the interview process we become aware of documents that we were previously unaware of that are influential in the various aspects of the research that we're conducting, we would be asking for those to ensure that we, you know, have a full kind of understanding of the playing field. We just don't want to, it's the unknown unknowns at this point, but we feel that we've covered the waterfront with the requests. So hopefully that's where we stand.
Okay, great. Mac, any more questions from you?
And just if you could, on any future requests that come up, if you could notify the three commissioners here and myself and CCS on any of those requests so that we're aware of any possible delays that might come and can encourage the department to comply expeditiously. We greatly appreciate that.
Okay, we will.
All right, got it. And now let us talk about a timeline. Who's going to take the lead on that, giving us some kind of idea where we might be and when we can expect something substantive?
Yeah, Dave, do you want me to speak to that?
Please.
Yeah, so I believe that with the data that we have, we can commence interviews, and we can always revisit if necessary. We have a large amount of data to work with right now. If the remaining data could be obtained quickly, I would wait. Like if it could be obtained in a week or two, I would wait, and then I would commence the investigations the third week when we had all the data, if we think that's possible. If we don't think that's possible, I would commence interviews within the next few weeks, and then we could revisit that data as it comes in and say, wait, this is strange. We need to go back and talk to Jones. That's how I see this proceeding. We have, as we've provided, standardized methodology in how we're going to proceed, what our interview methodology is, the question sequences that are going to be posed to each of the people interviewed, in addition to giving them an opportunity to speak themselves about their experiences. So we're ready to go really on that. And we do believe if we have people available and we have time, to get data back, the interview results and the finalized data, we believe we can complete this on time by October.
And Brenda, that's one of the reasons that I'm asking that we have Kelly identify that old meeting to ensure that there aren't a few other things that didn't make it into the contract, because we didn't design the contract, John Alden did.
Right. And so what we will, and Regina, I'm going to ask you if you would to just shoot me an email with Kadeli and Matt copied as to exactly what you want us to have Kelly go and look at, and about when that meeting occurred.
Very little idea, but I could do a little research.
Yeah.
I have to leave. My apologies. I am going out of the country and I haven't packed yet. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, Regina, nothing. Okay, nothing else from you. All your questions have been answered.
No, that is everything. We'll get on trying to get that meeting narrative and then be able to transfer. I am very excited about the pace that you're inferring. So would love to see the timeline as soon as possible.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you all. Thank you. And as we talk in terms of the timeline, are you going to be able to give us some more? I mean, when we first did the contract, we had some estimated timelines, 4 to 6 weeks. I remember. Can you update that timeline, provide it to us, so that we too can sort of be tracking you to see where we are, and make sure that we get regular updates as well from you. I don't know that we necessarily need to have any regular meetings. I mean, I don't know that we need to schedule another meeting right now, but we'll expect email status reports and questions so that we can keep up with what you're doing. Unless Kadeli or Mac thinks that we need to have another meeting, or we need to schedule every third Wednesday or something like that, or whatever. I don't know. I'd rather have you spending your time getting all of those interviews done and getting us something back for us to look at. Now, our contract ends in October, but obviously we're going to need something from you before October. And I'd like an idea of when you'll have at least sort of like a draft report to us, so that we can look at it. And if there's anything missing, we can tell you as well that we need for you to fill in some gaps. So we are in I should say we're at July now. It looks like you'll be starting your interviews in July, or by July sometime. So what can we expect and when will you have like a draft final report?
Well, let me ask Young, if you had complete data sets, how long would it take you to do an analysis of the data sets? I'm not talking about the interviews, but the data, the raw data that we receive.
Once we have the data, we should be able to complete the analysis in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm doing the math, doing the weeks that we're rolling into. It would seem to me, you know, mid-September, late September, we could give you a draft.
Okay. All right. And can you then also, when you send us something that will have a timeline to just, you know, and including that timeline when you know, everything, including when you expect a draft to be to us. Mac, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Specifically, I appreciate it, Commissioner. Specifically regarding having a draft, I think in a best case scenario, prior to that, perhaps toward the end of August or in the first week of September, we would have a short synopsis, a preview of the results. And I think that will give us a lead in as to what's going to be the substance, the larger draft. I would like to just have some sense of what's going to be coming as opposed to the draft language. So if there are some key takeaways that we can receive beforehand, that'd be best on my end.
Okay. And Mac, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Patrick.
We would certainly do that, providing our analysis was complete, and we can do that in August. If we have the results of the data analysis and the interviews, and we have some early indications of key takeaways, we would certainly do that.
And so, okay, so by August 31, you can kind of give us a synopsis.
We'll look
is that what you're suggesting, Mac, or earlier than August 31?
I think August 31 for a synopsis, and then a later in September draft of the actual document would be excellent for our timeline if the commissioners agree with me there.
Okay, sounds good. Kadeli, just jump in if there's anything else you want to add or anything. Okay.
I would just say is that we should schedule a meeting whenever that report is ready so that we can talk about it and look at the public meeting. The public can also have an opportunity to chime in. But we can get there when the data is available and that is ready.
Yeah, we will certainly have a public meeting on it. If not a public forum, you know, where they come in and present and talk about it. So we'll certainly schedule those kinds of things. So right now, then we won't schedule another meeting of this group. We'll communicate by email. We may, after maybe early September, maybe the first week in September, after you have submitted us your synopsis, we should plan to have a conference call, a Zoom call, that will have given us an opportunity to read over the synopsis and see if we have any questions or comments as you continue to work on getting us a draft report. With respect to, and as you know, Chief Armstrong is no longer with the department. So I don't know how, will you need some help trying to find him? And some people have contact information from him, but how would you go about trying to interview him now that he's no longer chief?
If you have his most recent contact information, we would appreciate it.
Okay. And we have now an acting chief of police. Will you be interviewing him as well? He's been with the department. Yeah, he's been with the department long enough. He's been many years. So so he'll have some history and background. We can let him know that you will want to interview him.
Yeah, definitely.
Give you the contact information. Okay. All right. Mac and Kadeli, I'll give you the list of people that we talked about having them interview before, if you have anybody to add to that list. And as I said, Ms. Olugbala would be a good person in the community to talk with. There may be members of the NAACP who may also may also want to talk with as a community member. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you recall early on, we spoke about we have a bias to be over-inclusive. So if we're in doubt, we would rather interview, more people and get more representation. So
Okay.
we're happy to do that.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Well, I don't have anything additional. Are there any other questions from you all, from any of you on the Stone Turn team? If not, I want to thank you very much for making yourselves available. I'm glad this is going. I'm just so thrilled and so excited that we have some movement on this, and we're here to help in any way that you need. But we really have, this is a priority, and it's been sort of dragging along for far too long.
Yes.
And we got to move on it now. And I'm happy to know that it's in good hands, and looking forward to what you bring us back. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good, thank
Thank you,
you.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
you,
Take care.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be
Thank you.
well.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you both.
evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you three. Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay. We can end. And Mac, I'll catch up with you later this week or something, probably.
Fantastic. Talk to you soon.
Okay, and thank you. Thank you. Your participation is awesome, outstanding. I want you to know I'm not even surprised, okay? I know,
appreciate it.
I listen, I had heard you walk on water, and you do. So
yeah.
so thank you for getting up to speed so quickly and asking intelligent questions and everything else. And this is going to be great. I'm so glad you're here and in charge. CPRA is in very, very good hands.
I really appreciate it and look forward to doing a long catch up soon.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.